Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Virginia Shaw.
I'm Jason Martinez. Meteorologist Megan Perry now standing by with the big story across the county today, Megan.
Yeah, Virginia's got it right. It's going to be hot today. Those Santa Ana winds continue coming down the mountains, heating up and drying out as they go, but not as strong as they were yesterday. If you recall, Alpine at this time was gusting to 40, even 52 miles per hour. Right now, about 30 miles per hour. So the worst of the winds have ended, but it's still going to be hot and pretty breezy today. Yesterday, though, was the worst of it. Hour by hour, La Jolla climbing to about 91, 92 this afternoon. By 4, still at 87 degrees. Lemon Grove, hour by hour, our inland neighborhoods topping off about 99 degrees this afternoon. Some areas, though, will be climbing to the triple digits, but that's about 4 to 10 degrees cooler than yesterday, but still really hot for the end of October. I'm forecasting just how hot it will be where you live today to pinpoint where we may set new records when I come back in 7 minutes. Virginia?
All right, thank you, Megan. You know, this heat this week is making some people kind of anxious, whether it's what to do with the kids once they get out of school early or concerns about how quickly a fire could spread in these hot, windy conditions.
And 10 News anchor Jim Patton's live in Mission Valley with how that uneasiness has some neighbors recording people acting carelessly in this heat. Jim.
Yes, it does, Jason. Good morning, Virginia. We are here at the Y. This is, as you said, we're talking about a couple of things this morning. One is the option of you can cool off here at the Y in the pool. We'll talk about more of that later. But right now, we are talking fire danger and a woman in East County who is on a mission to stop people from being careless. May sound hard to believe in this day and age, but discarding a lit cigarette still one of the top causes of brush fires. That has Janelle O'Meara, Tierra Santa woman, and her neighbors. They're using their cameras to raise awareness about the danger, even confronting drivers themselves.
That I pulled up next to her and I says, "Can you please not throw your cigarette out? There's fires everywhere." And she looked at me with a really rude look and just sped off.
And check it out, Janelle shows this sign to drivers that she spots tossing a cigarette butt out of their window. She says, unfortunately, right now it is getting a lot of use. And we're back here live at the pool at the Y. This is one of the options today we're going to be talking about in the next half hour for how you can get your kids, keep them busy, even though they're going to have a half day at school. So that'll come up in the next 30 minutes. For now, reporting live in Mission Valley, Jim Patton, 10 News.
Thank you, Jim. For the third day in a row, dozens of schools across the county will be letting out early because of the heat. 70 campuses in the San Diego Unified District will have a half day. Schools in Coronado also dismissed early today. We'll have more on how you can help your kids stay cool after school coming up in our next half hour. Also, if you want to see if your child's school is on that list of early releases, we've posted that on 10news.com. Kalina?
Well, I've been watching our roads right now, and we have a problem that just popped up on the 15 freeway northbound. This is just past the 8 right at Arrow, and it looks like it's over to the shoulder. Car lost control, now over to the shoulder, but they're still trying to clean everything up, so the backup already here from the 8. So again, just a heads up out on the 15 freeway, and you can see the 5 and the 805, pretty typical for this time of the morning, bunched up here out of National City and out of Chula Vista. Jason?
Kalini, thank you very much. And new from overnight, a man armed with a handgun cleaned out the cash register at an East County gas station there. Police say he was wearing a surgical mask right over his face when he stormed into that Arco on Massachusetts Avenue in La Mesa. Now, neighbors say that the gas station has been robbed several times. Employees say they're now considering closing the doors at 9 p.m. and only doing business through a window. Police are still searching for that robber.
This is breaking overnight. Students are back in class this morning at Grambling State University, and that's after 2 people were shot dead in a courtyard between 2 dormitories. Here you can see kind of what the scene looked like late last night. A 23-year-old senior and his friend were found dead in this courtyard between the 2 dorms. Some students taking to social media saying that, you know, they just 2 people were just pronounced dead in front of their dorm rooms. Right now, police are still looking for a suspect. They believe there was some type of altercation that happened inside one of those dorm rooms that led to the shooting. Guys?
Thank you, Renee. Happening today, lawyers will start making their cases for and against a man accused of intentionally running down an Oceanside police officer. Roberto Flores accused of hitting motorcycle officer Brad Hunter during a traffic stop in June. Officer Hunter's leg was shattered. He had to be wheeled away. He spent 2 weeks in the hospital. He also had a severe head injury. He told us over the summer he doesn't remember much about the crash, but he feels so lucky to be alive.
biggest thing that's been going through my head, I kid you not, is just what a fortunate man I am.
Court documents from the prosecution say after Flores was arrested, he bragged and confessed to the crime to an undercover officer. That officer was posing as an inmate. Opening statements in that trial starting today.
And at 6:05, we take you live to Capitol Hill this morning. Two Republican senators standing against President Trump. Republicans Bob Corker and Jeff Flake, both yesterday accusing him of hurting America and our reputation. Flake from Arizona says that he is so disgusted he is not running for a second term.
Flagrant disregard for truth and decency. The reckless provocations, most often for the pettiest and most personal reasons.
Overnight, Flake wrote a Washington Post op-ed saying it's time to stop pretending that this is somehow normal. As for Corker from Tennessee, he said this.
And I think that the worst of it is going to be just the whole debasing, if you will, of our nation.
Now, Corker is also not seeking re-election, and you see this tweet. This was just before 4:30 this morning, where the president tweeted Corker and Flake that they are not running because they had no chance of being re-elected. So what does all this mean? It could threaten the president's legislative agenda. It could also lead to a shift in who's in power in the Republican Party.
Now to this developing story about a Marine murdered in Phoenix over the weekend. Police say Staff Sergeant Demetrius Jolly was caught in the crossfire of two motorcycle clubs Saturday night. He was riding with one of those clubs when he was killed. Jolly attended boot camp here in San Diego and served in Iraq. He was also a drill instructor at MCRD San Diego. Police are investigating the shooting.
A health alert, the county extending the emergency declaration over our hepatitis A outbreak. It was first declared on September 1st, but county supervisors need to renew it every 2 weeks. So far, the virus has killed 19 people and gotten more than 500 sick. The county has spent $4 million battling the outbreak.
Only on 10 News, an East County teenager has a warning for women and girls. Beware of the person driving this car. 2 Thursdays ago near Farmington Drive, 18-year-old Elizabeth says she was strolling past the parked white car you see there when a white man in his 30s exposed himself.
He pulls up on my left side and I look over through his passenger window and I see that he's exposing himself and touching himself.
She says he drove off, but then was waiting for her around the corner. He started to follow her until she ran into her workplace. She says she didn't see him again until 5 days later near the same intersection. We blurred the driver's face because detectives have not confirmed he is a suspect. Anyone with information is asked to please call Crime Stoppers. All right, this is new from overnight. In case you didn't hear, LA celebrating big because the Dodgers didn't just beat the Heat. They beat the Houston Astros in Game 1 of the World Series.
I'd like you to be a little bit more excited. Let's bring the excitement levels up.
I'm excited right in here.
Santa Monica Pier behind us there lit up in Dodger blue after the game, also flashing the team logo, but the fans may be even more lit than the Ferris wheel.
It feels amazing. The whole house is packed. We're on cloud 9.
103 degrees at first pitch, and that was the first pitch to the Dodgers from Dallas Keuchel. They're absolutely crushed by Chris Taylor.
Chris Taylor with that first home run, you forget about it.
So hot. Look what the fire department did. They opened up some of the hydrants outside the stadium to cool everybody down. Even still, several people were treated for heat-related issues. So tonight's game, it's going to be hot as well. Game 2 at Dodger Stadium, Verlander against Rich Hill, just after 5 o'clock. And when you go to those games, there isn't a lot of breeze that comes through Chavez Ravine. So those fans need to drink water. They need to be ready because it's got to be tough.
They don't care.
They don't.
They just want their blue crew to win.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, it looked like it was in the shade though, so at least there was that.
That's
but
right.
yeah,
it's
going to be hot, but not as hot as yesterday. But I mean, yeah, it's still going to be hot. All those red flag warnings, they continue today for a few more hours. In fact, until 6 p.m. here locally. That's for our valleys and mountains. The wind's not as strong though, 30 to 45 miles per hour, which is still dangerous if a fire does spark. Humidity levels still in the single digits away from our coastline, and that excessive heat warning was extended through this evening, though again, not quite as hot, about 4 to 10 degrees cooler than yesterday. The biggest drop in temperatures will be along our coastline. This excessive heat warning goes until 8 o'clock, 90s and triple digits for our valleys, and I put an asterisk next to the, the areas that could set records. This would be the 3rd record-setting day in a row. Oceanside, Carlsbad, Escondido, Poway, El Cajon, La Mesa, Chula Vista. Let's keep going because there's more. Vista, Ramona, and Alpine. In fact, guys, 108 was the hottest temperature in the entire nation yesterday, reported right here at Miramar. We are